It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another live stream Q&A video. This is going to be Q&A 143 for Season 9 Episode 14 of The Walking Dead called Scars. Again, just like always, we don't have to just talk about this episode. We can talk about anything, but most likely the majority of the questions are going to be related to the upcoming episode and the previous episode before that. So, with that said, let's jump into the questions that are already on the chat. Noah Jing 75, hey Ash, how's your Friday going? Mine is going good. Mine is going pretty well, thank you. Noah Jing 75, Q&A, do you think 914 will be a very good episode, even though it's almost entirely mysterious of any kind of prediction that any person can make? I think that's what makes it interesting and intriguing as well. And yeah, I wouldn't say it'll be a very good episode just because it's mysterious, but I think the mystery adds to the intensity and the interest level for the episode. Noah Jig 75, for me, I feel like 914 is going to be like a part 2 of 205 or 905. That's a good way of looking at it, because 905 was the last episode before the time jump, and that's actually a good way of looking at it. Although I don't think we're going to pick up exactly the moment Rick disappeared. I think we're going to see a little bit of time jump still, or a bit of time where they're not going to show us between that time. But I do like how you're explaining it, how you are looking at it. Noah Jing 75, however, I saw on Twitter from Kristen Acuna, and she said the 914 is similar to 914, The Grove, which means it is going to be dark. Yeah, it's going to be very dark, not just because of, you know, what we've heard about the episode, but I think it's going to be dark because of what Norman Reedus said during one of the Talking Dead episodes. He said that this is going to be, or we will learn something in this episode that's going to show us that Michonne and Daryl crossed the line that no one really should cross. So that's very interesting. And that makes me very interested to see, you know, what they're going to do with the X-Scars and how they're going to explain that. But obviously it's going to be very dark. Alisa Jet, hello, do you think Michonne will appear in Rick's movie? Most likely not the first one, but probably in the second one. He will, or she will meet up with Rick, most likely. But probably not in the first one. It doesn't make sense. Because the first one, from what they told us, it's going to be during the time jump, right? During the time jump, Michonne was still at Alexandria. So it doesn't make sense for her to be in part 1 of the story, but maybe in the second or third movie. Noah Jink 75, Q&A, how long do you think Daryl and company will stay at Alexandria? They'll probably stay for a couple of days to see where everything goes, but I think they're gonna head towards the kingdom at some point. Maybe there's gonna be news coming in that something has gone bad at Kingdom or something like that. They're not going to stay at Alexandria at that point. They're going to probably go to the kingdom. And that's when we're most likely going to get the reveals as well that are going to come up. Noah Jink 75. Also, the person who spoiled Daryl beta fight last week, their name is, if you want to ban that person next time, they come into the chat. Yeah, thank you, man. I will definitely give them a warning next time I see them. And I'll ban them if they continue spoiling the episode. Noah Jink 75, and going back to that, yeah, that was definitely a dick move, because he said it's his predictions, and it was a spoiler. So yeah. Noah Jink 75, Q&A, have you checked the Walking Dead wiki? There are multiple casting for multiple kids and a character named Jocelyn, which is very interesting. No, I haven't checked. I'm not gonna check like every week or every day, especially because we're getting close to the finale, and I feel like the more we check, the more reveals are going to come in. So to not spoil the episodes further for myself, I'm not going to check it any longer. If it's something that is going around and everyone's talking about it, I might check it out. But just generally speaking, I'm not going to check every day for the wiki or on the wiki. And you're saying it's for 914. Animated Alex, what if the walkers eventually die out? it probably won't happen because people are going to continue dying. So there's going to be continuously zombies in the world of The Walking Dead. So it's never going to die down. There might be less of them, obviously, in 10 years, even in 5 years, but it's not going to completely die down or die out. Faith Canon 7, I only care about 15 and 16. I feel you, but episode 14, just there's something about it that intrigues me. Something about the mystery, you know? It won't be a big episode, probably not like the plot line is not going to move forward a lot. It's going to be sort of like a bottle episode. It's going to be slow. It's going to be dark, obviously, but we're going to get certain reveals that I'm interested in. Will I enjoy the episode as much as I enjoyed the other episodes? Maybe not, but I'm very interested to see what they do. Alisa Jet were the Highwaymen in the comics. I don't remember them. No, they were not in the comics. They are a TV show only group. Noah Jinx 75. Q&A, do you think the ending of 914 will set up 915 because there is a casting for a female whisperer? It could set it up, yeah, obviously, because what we see in episode 15, or what they do in episode 14, they need to get us not interested, but they need to hype it up and build something up for the next 2 episodes, away from the the flashbacks that they're gonna show. So I think it makes the most sense for them to do something like that. Noah Jinx 75, and I say this because that would be a good way to transition into 915. Yeah, I think it makes the most sense for the end of 914 to set up the fair in some way and potential threat at the kingdom or some weird stuff happening at the kingdom. That's going to set it up for episode 15 for the fair, and that's going to obviously set it up for what's about to happen at the fair or the aftermath of the fair. Alisa Jet, do you think Carol will take on Alpha? I want that. I don't know what it is about that showdown. I'm very interested to see that. Obviously, I don't want them to take Alpha's stories with other characters and just give it to Carol just because it fit. Just because, you know, everyone wants to see it. I want there to be something between them that fits, you know? They build up that they're similar in some ways. They need to build up on that and to give us a showdown that makes sense. But I'm very, very interested to see that. Do I think it'll happen? I think so, because they've been building it up and they've been hinting at it a lot. Animated Alex, I don't understand your opinion on the Daryl versus Beta fight, but it was definitely more realistic than the fights in Season 8, and at least this fight had a clear winner. A couple of things I didn't like about the fight. One was it was overhyped and it didn't live up to the expectation. 2, it wasn't as raw as I thought it was going to be. It was too choreographed, it felt. It was like they were just moving, you know, so cleanly, and it was just so perfect. But it was a good fight, but, you know, at some point I needed to see someone mess up, you know, because realistically, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be like so perfectly done, because it's not like a dance where they're working together. This is a fight. They want the other to mess up. They're trying to get into the other's head, you know? So there was a bit of that where it was just too clean. Another part of it was Daryl didn't get injured. He should have. He should have got injured. And another thing that I think hurt it the most was that they just left it. They just ended it a little bit underwhelmingly. Like Daryl should have thrown something on top of Beta or something, you know? It felt like, I don't know, it was like after it ended, everyone knew Beta was not dead. Why didn't Daryl just throw something at him, you know? There was that piece of it that just took you out of the scene because it's not realistic. But don't get me wrong, I do believe it was a good fight, one of the best fights we've seen. But there was just something missing in it. Noah Jink 75, Q&A, what is going to happen to Judith in 914? Because there's a shot from the trailer, Michonne yelling Judith. Yeah, I did notice that. First I thought she was yelling for Daryl, but it wasn't. She was yelling for Judith. I think maybe they lost Judith, or something might have happened to Judith, or not happened, but they thought something happened to Judith, or something along those lines. But that's very interesting. Like, I don't have a clear prediction on that, other than maybe they thought Judith was dead. Noah Jink 75, I feel like a lot of people are disappointed in 914 already because of the Whisper arc coming to a stop, but I think it's going to, or good to show, or slow down a little bit, especially with the mysterious X scars. I'm not gonna jump into conclusions. I'm gonna watch the episode and then judge the episode, but I think if they do a good mix of them bringing Lydia to Alexandria and the flashbacks, I don't think that'll be a problem at all. Animated Alex, but yeah, Beta should have won. He should have won. And I don't mean won like he should have killed Daryl. He should have had some victory, some level of victory. Alyssa Jet, they did a good job about Alpha being scary and creepy. Absolutely. They've already made Alpha 20 times more scary and creepy and intimidating than her comic book version. And I think Samantha Morton is a great pick for this role. Great. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, hey Ash, how'd you feel about episode 13 as a whole? I thought it was a great episode. I enjoyed it. I think it was a good episode. It was my least favorite episode this half, but it was still a good episode. Novajink 75, Q&A, how much time do you think will pass in 914? Let me just check something real quick. Because, yeah, the battery on the camera is dying because I forgot to charge it. So before it dies down and before we're completely off, let me transition to another camera here. And I'm just moving things around so you guys may actually see a bit of black screen. But bear with me a minute, guys. Okay, now let me, there we go. Let me bring this camera in. There we go. That's a little better. Let me close that. Let me turn my camera off and charge it. Or I'll charge it after, actually. Let's continue with the questions. Sorry about that, guys. But I did notice at the start of the stream that I forgot to charge my camera, so I didn't want it to die down in the middle. Where was I? Let me bring this on this side, if that's not gonna, that's gonna mess things up a little bit. Let me just keep it this way. Where was I? Novajink75, Q&A, how much time do you think will pass in 914? Will Daryl and company be there for a full day or just a couple of hours and then head to Kingdom if that's where it's going? I think most likely it's going to be a full day, I would say. A full day is probably going to pass. It could be a couple of hours, but I feel like most likely they're going to have a couple of hours, maybe close to a day pass. I do agree. I think afterwards they're probably heading towards the Kingdom. Like I said before, I think something is going to happen, or they're going to hear about something going on at the Kingdom and they're going to head to the Kingdom at the end of the episode. Faith Cannon 7, I think how... Oh wait, I think I know how the Whisperers can sneak into the fair. A couple of Whisperers and Alpha join the Oceanside before all 4 communities come to the fair. The Oceanside are the last group to be seen. Or just join a group. I mean, if there isn't any Whispers that we know of, like Alpha, and she's in just walking in with her bald head, I think they'll be fine if they just go with any group. NovaJink75, either Alexandria or Oceanside will show up at latest at the fair. I think so. I think Hilltop is probably going to be there first, and then probably we're going to see Oceanside and Alexandria together, or not together, but last. I do agree with that. Animated Alex. Alpha is good for creepy scenes and Beta is good for creepy and action scenes. Yeah, that's probably what they're doing, like how they're utilizing those characters. Animated Alex, The Walking Dead really or never really had good fight scenes anyway. I would disagree. The Pete versus Rick fight at Alexandria, that was a good fight. So I would disagree with that. NoahJink75, kind of ironic how in 913 when Henry got stabbed with the spear that he made for Lydia, Henry also suffered an injury in his leg like his brother Benjamin. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that's a good callback. Animated Alex zoomed in. Yeah, I was I was getting the other camera ready, my webcam, because this one's my camera's out of charge, so I was switching around. NoahJink75, Rick versus Governor was awesome. Brutal and bloody. I would say that was a disappointment as well. The Rick Governor fight that could have been done a lot better. Like I said, Pete versus Rick fight was the best fight in my opinion. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A. Hey Ash, I know who is responsible for the X cars, but I'm not spoiling it. Who it is? Yeah, please don't spoil it. Please don't. I don't know how you know, but I don't want to know. Faith Cannon 7. Oceanside are the last to be seen. The Whisperers can't go to others because it would be questionable among the three communities, and they can't roll up in there as strangers. That would be worse. Yeah, I think so. Plus, there's a bunch of highwaymen there now. So they could blend in as the highwaymen because no one really knows the highwaymen, right? Animated Alex, could we get another huge time jump? Not this season. Maybe next season, close to the end of the first half of the season, but not this season. NoahJink75, at Faith Cannon 7, only Hilltop has seen Alpha's face. Alexandria, Kingdom, and Oceanside haven't seen her. If Alpha has a good disguise, she can infiltrate perfectly. Daryl and Hilltop has seen it, right? And Kingdom, Henry has seen it. And Yumiko and her group and Magna's group has seen it, right? So there's a bunch of people at Kingdom right now that are going to Kingdom, that have seen that face. So she can't necessarily infiltrate perfectly, even if Hilltop doesn't show up. Because we do know, or even if Daryl is not there, because we do know Hilltop has seen the face, and Magna's group. Alicia Jet, don't know about Henry's faith, but I'm worried about Jerry. Jerry, I am scared for, yes. But I'm leaning more towards Jerry's wife, or Jerry's significant other. What was her name? Nabila. I'm more scared for Nabila. I think Jerry's safe, but Nabila, I'm not sure. NoahJink75, if Alpha goes to the fair, I hope they have her disguise herself very good. In the comics, I don't know how anyone didn't notice Alpha. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't get how no one noticed Alpha in the comics when she did that. I hope they do something better in the TV show. Animated Alex, yeah, I take that question back. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, hey Ash, do you think Daryl is still haunted by Glenn's death? Yeah, I think so. I don't think that's ever gonna stop. He's always gonna blame himself. Animated Alex, or the Rick versus Shane fight. Yeah, that was also a good fight. But still, the Pete versus Rick fight was the one that was the most raw. And I say that because no one really died at the end of that. But the Shane-Rick fight, someone died. So, in a fight where no one really died at the end, which was closest to the Beta versus Daryl fight, I would say Daryl or Rick versus Pete fight was the best. Animated Alex, do you think the Highwayman had something to do with the scars? They could make that, or make that work, but I'm leaning more towards a no. NovaJink75 Q&A, is there a theory, or there's a theory going about the Pikes and it involves certain characters looking similar? What do you think? It involves certain characters looking similar. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know the theory. I haven't seen the theory. If what you're gonna say is gonna reveal anything too much, don't say it. But if that's just a theory that's not gonna spoil anything, then you can tell me. But if it's a spoiler, don't tell me. Animated Alex, the Whisper War will end with the Whisperers joining the kingdom and watch a movie. LOL. I don't think that's gonna happen. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, hey Ash, Beta versus Daryl was way better than Negan and Rick fight at the end of season 8. Absolutely agree with that. That I agree with, yes. NovaJink75, and let me just move this. And the theory is that characters like Jerry looks a lot like Highwayman leader Ozzy, and they could fool us into thinking Jerry got piked when really it is Ozzy. Yeah, they could definitely make that work. And not just Jerry and Ozzy, but also Carol and... Oh, not Carol, sorry. What was it? What was the name? At the Kingdom. Actually, never mind. I was gonna say... Yeah, never mind. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, I do agree with that. They could do something like that. Faith Cannon 7. I think not every Pikehead will be someone at the fair. Some people will be looking for Henry and with Ezekiel because he would want to find his son. I have a funny feeling. Yeah, I don't think it'll be everyone just at the fair. I do agree that it will be maybe others as well that are not necessarily at the fair. NoahJink75, this also applies to Henry looking a lot like Hilltop teenagers. Yes, absolutely. That's what I was going to say, but I lost my train of thought. They could have us thinking Henry got piked when it was really Gage and not Henry. Yeah, they could definitely do that. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A. Hey, do you think if they follow the comics, then Beta will die in season 11, right? Season 10, not 11. Season 10. Faith Cannon 7, NovaJink75. That's toying with our minds, bro. LOL. It is, but that's something that Walking Dead will probably do. NovaJink75. Another one could be Connie and that chick with the big hair and glasses from Alexandria. Yes, that's a good one. Having us think Connie got piked when it was the chick from the big hair from Alexandria. Yeah, and the other one I was thinking, Eugene and Kelly. No, not Kelly. Eugene and what was his name? Luke. Eugene and Luke. They could do Eugene and Luke as well. NoahJink75. At Faith Cannon 7. It's clever though. LOL. Yeah, it is very clever. Gotta give it to them. Animated Alex, Beta would be a pussy. Yeah. I think Beta is stronger than Merle for sure. For sure. And obviously stronger than Daryl. NoahJink75. Oh wait, the theory wasn't Jerry and Ozzy, it was Luke and Ozzy looking alike. My bad. Yeah, Luke and Ozzy do look alike, yeah. I think, depending on how you look at them, Ozzy and Jerry do look similar too. And Ozzy and Jerry. Wait, so Ozzy, Luke, Jerry, and Eugene. These like look alike, some of them. You know what I mean. Like Eugene looks a little like Luke from certain angles, or when he's doing certain scenes. Ozzy and Luke for sure. Ozzy and Jerry as well. Noah Jinx 75. Luke and Ozzy do look alike. Yeah, they look alike. Let me just. I'm curious now. I know they look alike, but I'm curious. Let me just look at the thing again. The Walking Dead Luke. Ozzy. Yeah, they look similar. I do agree. They look similar. But obviously, Ozzy's not supposed to have the hat because that gives it away. Animated Alex Fear is dead. Yes, it is. Alicia Jet, Tammy and Carol with the hair. Tammy and Carol. Yeah, they could do that. Tammy and Carol. Yeah, that's actually, yeah. But Tammy, we haven't seen her with her hair flowing. It's been tied mostly. But that's a good one too. Noah Jinx 75. Q&A, what do you think of Kelly getting piked? I think she's going to get it because she's gotten so much less focused than Magna, Connie, Yumiko, and Luke. I think Luke is going to get it. I don't think it's going to be Kelly. Or, yeah, Kelly. I think it's going to be Luke from Magna's group. Epic Zombie Killer. No, it's season 11 because Beta dies in issue 174. I think the Whisper War is going to be half a season. That's why I'm saying season 10. Nova Jinx 75. Also, Kelly's death would propel Connie's story and push a strong friendship between Daryl and Connie, as they will both lose siblings if Kelly does die. Yeah, but I still think I'm leaning more towards Luke. I don't know why. Animated Alex. Michonne can't go. Yeah, but she will go next season. Not die, but she's gonna leave. Faith Cannon 7, I don't want the Whispers to go too soon. Us fans are not prepared for the future things. We have the Rick movies. People love the Whispers arc as they're the best ones and survive. Oh, and the survivors reunite with Rick. I don't think they're going to push the Whispers arc for an entire season next season. I think it'll be half a season and maybe a few episodes spills over. But it's not going to take all the way to season 11. Noah Jig 75, if Luke does die, then I think Alden will be fine. I have both of them on my list. Because Alden is a savior, technically, and Luke is a member of Connie's group. So they're from two separate groups. And from what we think, or what I think there's going to be at least one character from each group, or each community that's going to get it. So both of them are on my list. Noah Jig 75. For me, with Luke and Alden, it's one or the other at this point. Who will get piked, but not both. Could be. But I don't know. It's tough to call. Animated Alex. Do you think Negan could contribute somehow to the group? If so, how? I do think so. I think it's just going to be... It's a difficult one. I think it's just to give Michonne advice on how to deal with people of different kinds, you know? People who are stubborn, people who might not necessarily follow orders right. And I don't mean Negan telling Michonne to kill this person. I mean, what he can or what she can do to intimidate them in a way to get them to listen, and how to bring the groups together in a way where you know, she could be a better leader, much like what they did with Rick in the comics with Negan. No, I think 75. Or maybe they can kill Luke and Alden because Luke is from Magnus Group and Alden is in a relationship with Enid. Yeah, exactly. That could be a great one. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, or that's a great explanation, I mean. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, hey Ash, do you think when Beta dies in the show, they'll take his mask off like the comics and he'll say he has no name like the comics? I hope, because it's iconic. I think they will do something like that. They might not necessarily follow it directly, but they'll do something like that. Noah Jink 75. The relationships have been set up this season are being set up for a reason. Almost all of these relationships are probably going to come to tragic ends at the end of season 9. I completely agree with you. 100%. We are 33 minutes in. I do have to leave a little early for today's live stream. So we'll go for another 5 or 10 minutes of stream and that'll be the end. Noah Jink 75 Q&A. Do you think Daryl and company will run into Alpha while on their way to the fair if they go? Probably not, because that's gonna overlap with Whispers being at the Kingdom for the fair. So I don't think that'll necessarily work. Alisa Jet, but Alden is happy with Enid. That's exactly why one of them is probably gonna die. Faith Cannon 7, I'm leaning towards Alden, of course. Faith Cannon 7, not every piker will go down without a fight. I wonder if slow motion in the snow will make things sad and scary. Like a slow motion kill with blood shedding on snow. They could do something like that for some characters, but I don't think they should do that for all characters. And definitely not main characters. Some main characters do need to be a mystery. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A, hey Ash, do you see Negan getting exiled and vanishing in the show like he did in the comics? I could see that. 50%. 50%, I think they might just remix his story and give him something completely different. Alisa Jet, yes, they have them happy to ruin them. Absolutely. Noah Jink 75. Q&A, do you like the fact that we'll see a pregnant Michonne in 914? We will see that for sure. The promo pics definitely give that away. Do I like it? Yeah, I think it makes sense. If we're gonna jump back in time, makes sense to see Michonne being pregnant. Elisa Jet, good night everyone. Good night, Elisa Jet. Glad you could join. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Noah Jink 75, Tammy Rose is confirmed to die via Brett Butler's social media posts about last few episodes of filming. I think she's the one where everyone's like, yeah, she's gonna die, you know? So I don't think that's really a spoiler, even if she did say it like that in her post, because she's on everyone's guess or prediction. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A hash, do you think Alpha will die in the mid-season finale of season 10? They could do it earlier. They could. if they want to stay true to her comics, like killing her before the Whispers completely are done with the threat. Depends what they want to do. I don't know exactly at this point. We're gonna have to wait and see where the story goes. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A. Hey Ash, do you think? Oh, I just read that. Yeah, no more questions here. Noah75 Q&A. How much of Alpha will be utilized in season 10? I think she's probably gonna be there for a good 6 episodes, and then she's probably gonna die, and then the Whispers as a whole, I think the threat is gonna be done maybe by the mid-season finale, but maybe it'll spill over a little bit to the second half of season 10. Noah75, I feel like they'll utilize Samantha Morton's skills more, especially in season 10. I do think so, but I don't think that they're gonna completely change it by not killing her earlier a little bit than what we expect. In the comics, they did a similar thing. Epic Zombie Killer, hey Ash, I have a suggested video. We don't have suggested videos for on season or when Walking Dead is on, but depending on what it is, I could see if I want to do it or not. Depends. If it's something I think people will be interested in, I'll do it. But suggested videos are for the off season. Noah Jink 75, I hope the Whispers arc isn't too short or too long. Completely agree with you on that. I think they need to find the right balance. All right, we'll go for 5 more minutes of rapid fire Q&A. Faith Cannon 7, I know I see Beta dying at the end of 10. Beta is a difficult one, but I still think he's going to die at the end of the Whispers arc. He's not going to linger around after that. And I think the Whispers arc is going to end near the end of season 10. Most likely close to episode 10 or 11. Or not 10, sorry, 8, 9 or 10. They could push it to 11 if they want, but I feel like 9 or 10 is probably where it'll be. Noah Jink 75. Q&A, if you were a Whisperer, what kind of weapon would you want to have besides a knife? Can't be a gun. An axe, a machete. Those are good ones. A bat. Lucille. I'm just kidding. Epic Zombie Killer. Hey Ash, you should do a comparison between the Whispers arc in the comics versus the show. I am thinking of doing that, but at the end of the Whispers arc. Not right now. When everything is done, then I'll do a comparison. What I will definitely do at the end of this season is the following. So the most popular video I have on, people might not know that, the most popular video I have on the channel is the one where I side by side compare Negan's introduction in the comics and the show. I have both like beside each other and the video plays and you see the comparison. I want to do the exact same for the heads on the pikes, for the Whisperers. Exact same thing. Up to now, we haven't really seen that, or something that's very, very close for me to do a comparison like that when it comes to the Whisperers. So that's why I haven't done one for them yet. But that's one I do definitely want to do at the end of the season. Noah Jink 75, you should make a video on how you would make an additional high-profile Whisperer like Alpha and Beta. What do you mean by that? Like another Whisperer that's well-known or that we know like Beta and Alpha? If that's the case, I would say make a Whisperer that deals with different communities that they find. And I mean, like, not communities, but like, let's say someone crosses their land. It would make sense for there to be a lead for that section of their camp or that section of their territory. And they deal with the people crossing into their borders and not Alpha and Beta every time. Much like with the Saviors, we had Simon and Gavin, you know, something similar. They could do something, they could have done something like that for the Whisperers as well. Faith Canon 7 seems too short. They came in episode 6 just to be almost done before season 10. I'm a little sad if it's true, the best villains I love. I feel like if they drag it to season 11, it might be too much dragging, or dragging it too much. They might be stretching out the story like they did with the Saviors. So because of that bad experience with the Saviors and a whole season of All Out War, I'm leaning more towards they might do something safe, where it's not necessarily a half a season, but not an entire season. It's like 10 episodes or 11 episodes maybe. Epic Zombie Killer. Q&A, hey Ash, between Ezekiel and Rosita, who's more likely to die? Rosita. Noah Jink 75. Whispers are definitely my favorite villains of all time. Yeah, they're very cool villains on the TV show. Faith Cannon 7. If I were a Whisperer, I would have a knife that shoots the blade out like the Spantex using in the army. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, that's a good one too. Noah Jink 75, you missed my comments. Did I? Oh, I did. Noah Jink 75. I would make a Whisperer named Omega, have a big rusty crowbar, a spraying machete, and of course a knife. Those are great picks. Noah Jink 75. Basically, what I'm saying, you should make a video where you make your own custom Whisperer. Yeah, I mean, if there's enough interest, I might do that. Faith Cannon 7, the best villains, no dispute. They're very cool villains. They come very close to being my favorite. Right now, still Negan is my favorite villain so far. But I'm sure by the end of this season and by the end of the Whisperers arc, the Whisperers and Alpha are going to be my favorite. Epic Zombie Killer. Q&A, I wonder why everyone is thinking that Rosita will die over Ezekiel. Because she's just not getting a lot of story. And she's in the background a little bit. And they're following her comic arc, it seems. Faith Cannon 7, you could make shields or tree bark armor. Or just a door, like Beta had a door in front of him. In the last episode. Noah Jink 75. The king is probably going to die as well. Epic Zombie Killer. Yeah, the Time Heroes, the king, and Rosita are my top picks. Alright, that's it for this live stream Q&A. Thanks everyone for joining and asking questions. I appreciate it. Obviously, we're going to have another one Sunday at 1 p.m. I think, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And obviously, the episode is going to be Sunday night. Last comment from Noah Jink 75. The dots are connecting almost perfectly for Rosita to be killed by Alpha. I do think so. And also, I don't know if anyone noticed this, and this is the last comment. When that Whisper went against Alpha's orders or challenged her, that female Whisperer, is it just me or did she like a lot like Rosita? Maybe a little bit. That to me was another foreshadowing of that. Fifth Cannon 7, Rosita versus Alpha, epic battle, epic zombie killer. Bye Ash, thanks for the awesome stream today. Have an amazing day, bro. thank you for joining and asking questions. Have an amazing day yourself and everyone else on the chat. I will see you all on Sunday for the next stream. Hopefully you guys can all join us. See you soon.